Sorry for being late. I'm trying to avoid epileptic seizures. Not mine, yours. Yeah, the video's just been flashing. I've been cutting in and out. I don't like it. All right, today, the tariffs are illegal. How what the US really wants is complete economic collapse. And then, in keeping with everything I've been speaking about this week, I'm going to show you that the home prices aren't the problem. Your income is the problem. I'm going to show you the real inflation. All right, let me start with the tariffs. They're all illegal. All of them. Every single one of them. We've been hearing about this for a while, but now the decision has been made. The Court of International Trade has said definitively the president does not have the power to impose these tariffs. That this International Emergencies Economic Powers Act does not give the president unlimited power to impose tariffs. Will this put an end to the tariffs immediately? Probably not. What this does do, though, is open up the door for an enormous amount of litigation against the United States government. Lawyers are salivating this morning as they prepare the cases against the United States. There is going to be an absolute tsunami of lawsuits against the US. It's going to cost them billions of dollars to deal with the billions of dollars worth of lawsuits that are coming. Now, a quick reminder, what we're told is that this is all because of the trade deficit the United States has with other nations. The Council of Economic Advisors published a paper in November titled A User's Guide to Restructuring the Global Trading System. They talk about the value of the US dollar, how it's been overvalued, how the economic prosperity has caused people to buy things. Let me break it down for you. Despite the rhetoric, the United States is one of the most successful countries on the planet with some of the most successful people on the planet. And they like to buy nice things. Those nice things tend to come from other countries. You following so far? Because here's the next part of that. That sets a fashion everywhere in the world. So if people in the United States want a Coach purse, people in China want a Coach purse as well. Rich people in the US want a BMW? Rich people in the Middle East want a BMW. If a Cadillac ain't good enough for people in the US, a Cadillac ain't good enough for people outside the US either. And what about the economic collapse? Does that make sense? Absolutely. Because again, the United States is going to set the fashion. Think back to the oil crisis of the 70s. Gas lines. What did the US do? They started buying small Japanese cars. Next thing you know, small Japanese cars are popular everywhere in the world. And it's lasted a long time. Watching the news, you'd think Al-Qaeda and ISIS are sponsored by Toyota. The United States is fucking around, and they're gonna find out. Because step one in fixing this trade deficit surplus is getting Americans to buy American. And they ain't gonna do that. Secondly, way too many of them think they're headed in the right direction. And they ain't. They need to start turning that rig around right now. All right, the real inflation. This is gonna make your brain explode. First up, this article from Better Dwelling, which we all hate, from 2022, points out how builder profit margins went up. The other day I said the profit margin was around 13%. That's what they say. And it's come down somewhat since 2022. But wait. House costs, a 3-year comparison from the 1960s. Selling price for a house in 1965, $18,500. Total on-site cost, though, $10,044. That's the profit margin. Look at that. And we're trying to tell them 13% is too high. Look at what it used to be. Archived from Stats Canada, what were wages and salaries in 1965? There's wages, $139 a week. There's salaries, about $100 a week. $100, 52 weeks, $5,200 a year, which right now would be 50 grand. 51. But if you're making $5,200 and a new house costs $18,500, that's 3.6 times your income. It ain't 3.6 times your income now. They say the average wage has gone up to about 65 grand. A house still ain't 3.6 times your income. But here's another reality check. That $18,500, that'd be $181,000 now. That won't buy you half a lot. Never mind the rest of the house. That won't buy you half a lot. What about cars? In 65, a new Bug cost $1,595. That's $15,600 now. You ain't buying a new car for $15,600. What about a used car? A little less than $700 for a used Pontiac Catalina. Right there. 7 grand. Televisions were $400 though, which is like 4 grand in today's dollars. But look at that, 1965, that was built with glass and metal and wood. Now a television's near disposable. And I've been saying this for years now. The problem with our inflation metrics is we put shit in there that distorts the metric. the mortgage interest cost. If that's negative, for instance, which it has been several times in the last 30 years, well, that brings the inflation down. If gasoline prices fall, that brings the inflation down. But the prices don't come down. They say your wages have kept pace with inflation, but inflation has not kept pace with inflation. I rarely agree with the Financial Post, but on this one, they are 100% accurate. Housing will only become affordable if incomes grow faster. Because right now, we are way behind. Way behind. And half the people in this country think the other half should make less money.